social media, I feel like everywhere we look, we hear about old money and quiet luxury and how to achieve the look for less. And I feel like it's always really attributed to fashion. As a hairdresser and in cosmetology, the fundamentals of hairdressing is that it is the accessory you never take off. It's the one thing that actually is you. You can wear makeup, you can wear jewelry, you can wear the most beautiful handbag, you can wear the most luxurious clothes, but all of those things are not you, whereas your hair is actually a piece of you. So to me, like having good skin, having good hair is the most indispensable part of looking incredible. And so I'm not going to be here to tell you that you should look rich or this is an aesthetic that you should be after, but because it is getting so much buzz, it would be an absolute shame not to shed some light on the most important accessory, which is our hair. So I'm going to be sharing some tips on how you can make your hair make you look rich. Quiet luxury has gotten this like negative connotation, and I actually think quiet luxury should always be a thing. And to me, quiet luxury is about having something that feels right, that feels good, that looks good, that is not screaming to the public that you spent a ton of money on it. Like, I don't want my hair to scream like I spent $1,000 on it. I want it to look easy and effortless. And that, to me, is quiet luxury. So we'll start with the basics. I personally think the main things that everyone should look for in trying to achieve with their hair is A, good color, and B, just good, healthy hair. And then there's your haircut. But I feel like your haircut is something that can kind of more, you can express who you are. I feel like your color is more, of course you still have options and choices with your color, but you definitely, with color, there's more like set rules on what will look good with your skin tone and your personality and your vibe. Whereas I feel like with cut, just do what feels right for you. And like, that's kind of like where you can play the most, I think. So achieving a color that looks good on you doesn't have to be expensive. I feel like based on where the trends are with hair right now, if you're a little bit confused and your hair looks really blonde, kind of damaged, I would recommend go down one shade. It doesn't have to be really much darker, but just tone down. It'll just look and so much more chic and effortless. Also, if you feel like you don't have the color that you like or the color that you want due to cost, this is another reason why I think going slightly darker, at least closer to your natural hair shade, is going to be so much easier to maintain yourself either at home or even at the salon. Is just going to require less maintenance. And one thing that I always like to consider when talking to a client is their lifestyle and really choosing a color that's going to look good on them and work for them long term. You should never just go with a color that's going to look amazing when you leave the salon. If it's something that's going to require a ton of toning and A, you don't have the time, or B, you don't want to deal with the effort, then that color's probably not for you. And this shouldn't be a negative thing. This just means that we're avoiding you walking around with color that you're not in love with later on. Moving on to the second point, which is healthy, shiny, luscious hair. I feel like where we're at, there's just so much product and innovation in hair healing and hair health that I feel like there's kind of no reason to walk around with fried, dry, damaged hair. I think one of the reasons sometimes that we're not taking care of this, if our hair is a little bit more dry, is mainly because we don't know where to go. And of course, one thing is to assess what kind of damage or what kind of thing is causing, you know, your hair to be less shiny or less lustrous. Some people just naturally have more frizzy hair, and that's okay. Then you're treating the frizz alone. If your frizz dryness is coming from damage, you know that this only happened after you've, you know, lightened your hair last or something like that, then you know that the hair is in fact over-processed. In that case, we have K18, we have Olaplex. In my opinion, I feel like K18 can heal the hair in far kind of more areas than Olaplex alone can. And honestly, for the price of the product, you can absolutely use it multiple times a year on your hair, and it'll be cheaper still than any appointment to the salon. And one of the big things that, again, I learned in cosmetology school is always share the importance of at-home upkeep with your client, because it's just so easy to just be like, spend all this money on the salon appointment and just like, don't buy any other product, don't do anything else, just like come see me again. And I feel like that's very old school hairdressing, and I think a much more modern approach is a hybrid of the client taking care of their hair at home and the stylist helping them navigate that while also giving them their dream hair in the salon. And so it is our job to help you maintain not only your color, but the integrity of your hair at home. And K18 is one of the best ways to do that. It is an at-home care system. Another thing you can do in terms of hair care is to use a good quality hair oil on your scalp and on your mid-lengths through the ends. This goes for everybody, whether you color or you don't. This is just going to feed your hair. Basically, think of the K18 as like an emergency repair, whereas a healthy hair oil is like basically having a good diet for yourself and your skin, rather than just waiting for the hair to be extremely damaged and then doing an emergency repair. And the last and final step into having hair that looks absolutely incredible is, of course, the style. How you style your hair, the cut you have, and how often you style your hair are all to be considered when trying to have the most beautiful hair. So I feel like we're living in a time where various shapes and cuts are in, so there's bound to have something out there that will suit your style and your features. So one of my favorite ways to figure out what would look good on you is, first of all, just look at what you gravitate towards. If you keep looking at a specific cut or length and you're like, oh, that would never work on me, if you keep being attracted to it, it is your style, it's your essence. So dive a little bit deeper. Try to find a celebrity that has similar features to you, similar coloring to you, and that has that same style. See how that looks, and if that's something that translates and you feel like would look good on you, go for it. I think a lot of times we're actually held back by what we think is not going to look good, that we stay stagnant in something that we also don't like. And I think when you try something new, even if it's not like oh my gosh, this is my favorite style ever that I'm gonna keep for the next 10 years, but I feel like seeing yourself in different light. I've always said this, it's kind of like when you try on that outfit that you never thought was gonna look good and then it ends up looking good. If you don't try, you'll never know. And I think we're definitely a little more afraid with hair than, of course, trying on a piece of clothing. But I definitely think it's worth a try. And I think like you see how amazing you can look in a different look. And I think that part alone is just really empowering. So definitely suggest you try something new, especially if it's something that's like really been on your radar. And then in terms of actually styling, if you want to be, perceived as someone that really puts time and care into how they look, styling your hair daily is a necessity. Now you can have a cut and color that will make it a lot easier for you to style it. But unfortunately, there's not a lot of styles, or at least I notice with my clients, styles that they end up loving that doesn't take any effort. Good hair comes with some effort. What we want to do is make it look effortless. It shouldn't be too fussy. And of course, as pictures of celebrities we see as stylists, we get in all the time from our clients. They're like, I want this haircut. And really, it's the same haircut they have. It's really just styled nicely. A little effort does go a long way, and a little bit of effort every day, I think, makes the most difference. And lastly, a sleek bun. It's literally one of those hairstyles that I think everyone can kind of achieve. And depending on your features or how you, of course, like this look or not, but I think it's one of the chicest ways to style your hair that just makes you look so polished, so put together, looks like someone did your hair. And yeah, it just looks amazing. I really think that a sleek ponytail or bun can just be so effortlessly chic. It's classic. It's going to go with, you can pair it with a t-shirt or with like a nice outfit and you're always going to look amazing. especially if you add a little bit of jewelry. Those are my tips on making your hair not only look more luxurious, but in turn also give you that quiet luxury look. I hope this video has inspired you to try something new and to change something up in your routine, and I'll see you in the next one.